Hello, welcome to this edition of Cover to Cover, and thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Marcy Hernandez with the San Antonio Public Library. The library provides rich cultural resources available to the San Antonio community. We celebrate and honor the diversity of San Antonio all year long, but from September 15th through October 15th, we specifically celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. Here to share some great information about this year's Hispanic Heritage Month events and programs is Kate Prazak, manager of the Cortez Branch Library. Kate, welcome to Cover to Cover.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So before we get started, I'd like to start by explaining to our viewers, you are part of the diversity committee of the library. Is that correct?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about how that works, kind of who makes up that group.
So we have librarians from all over the system, and they create programs that celebrate the uniqueness of our city, and so we cover world women's history, Black history, the LGBTQI community, Asian and Pacific American Heritage Month, and that's just a few of the topics we discuss.
And so typically we follow kind of a national calendar of those diversity months, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So who determines what kinds of programs, the themes of the programs? Is that something that we get from the national observances, or is that determined by the committee?
Both. We do both. We do the national. Also, branches will make programs that are specific to the needs and the wants of their community, and then we'll also recognize national celebrations as well.
Fantastic. So what can we expect this year for Hispanic Heritage Month?
We have everything from how to make tortillas to a yerbero, that's an herbalist, and he'll be teaching us the traditional uses of herbs for healing, and that's a program series called Curandero Secrets. We will also have crafts for kids. We'll be celebrating 80 years of dance with the San Antonio Parks and Recreation Department. And so we really just have a variety of activities for all ages all over the city.
Oh, okay, that's great. So every branch then participates in some kind of Hispanic Heritage Month event.
Definitely.
Great. So something new this year was that we were awarded a Latino Americans grant. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Sure. It's called Latino Americans 500 Years of History. The basis of the grant is a series of 6 documentaries. They're produced by the National Endowment for the Humanities and the American Library Association. They are on PBS. And the documentaries explore the last 5 decades of history, the experiences, and the accomplishments of Latino Americans in the United States. And so this grant has really allowed us to provide some quality programming that explore the themes that are covered in those documentaries.
Very neat. So what made us kind of go after that grant? Why was it important to bring this type of programming to San Antonio?
San Antonio has such a rich history and culture of Latino Americans, and we just really want to recognize that and make sure that everyone is represented in these programs.
Fantastic. So at your branch in particular, can you tell us a little bit about kind of your patrons and what your community really wanted to focus on for these Heritage Month events?
Sure. So we're going to have Curandero Secrets, and it's a really popular topic. So we've got a lot of Spanish speakers and just kind of a rich heritage there, and that's just something that everyone's interested in, on how to use herbs, traditional methods of healing things in a natural way, and I think it's going to be a really popular event.
Very neat. And so that's traveling, you said, to a few branches, correct?
A few branches, yes. Another one that's traveling is the 80 Years of Dance program with the San Antonio Parks and Recreation Department.
And so that'll actually be performances?
Performances, yes.
Wow, that's so neat. So I don't think a lot of people really think about music and dance or herbs or making tortillas at a library. What would you say to people who maybe don't put that connection together?
Well, with libraries, what we're trying to do is provide information and also help you learn, and that's just another way of providing resources and one-on-one expertise, and it's just a different way. Everyone learns in different ways. Not everyone can learn out of a book, and so we just want to provide you with information in every way that we can.
I like to think of information and entertainment, really.
Yeah, definitely. But it's entertainment, but it's also traditions, and so we're sharing traditions. So traditional Mexican folk music, like we did at our kickoff for Hispanic Heritage Month. or traditional dances. So we're also just making sure to keep those heritages alive.
Very neat. So do you find that most of the patrons that are attending these events are Hispanic and Latino, or do you find that it's very multicultural?
No, definitely multicultural. Everyone wants to learn and just see what's out there and just kind of explore other heritages and cultures. And it's a great learning experience for everyone.
So which Diversity Month comes then after Hispanic Heritage?
It's Native American Heritage Month
Oh,
in
very
November.
neat. And so has programming kind of already been, beginning to organize and...
Oh yeah, we start planning these programs well in advance to make sure we get the word out. We can plan some good programs, and so we do have some great programs coming up, so definitely look out on our website for those.
So for patrons or members of the community who might be involved in organizations or have ideas for events or programs that they think might match a diversity month, what would be the best way for them to reach out and get involved?
I think you can call the library, so call the main library, and they can direct you to someone. They can find someone that's involved in that initiative, and then we can go from there. We're definitely open with working with community organizations and just sharing all the resources that are available to people.
I like that idea of sharing. So you mentioned Parks and Recreation. Are there other community groups that are involved in Hispanic Heritage Month programs?
We do. We're involved with other community organizations for everything. Actually, yesterday we had National Voter Registration Day, and so we worked with NALEO. It's a local organization, actually nationwide, and we're able to get that program out to people as well.
Fantastic. So going back to how the themes are chosen, and can you tell us a little bit about the group of librarians that make up the diversity committee? Like, what got you interested, for example?
Well, that's something just I'm interested in myself. I love being able to plan programs that introduce people to things they might not be aware of, and I think it's a great way to make sure that everyone feels welcome in our libraries, everyone's represented and recognized for their contributions to society. And so I've been involved pretty much from the start of when I began at SAPL, which was in March of 2014. And so we also have other staff that just have a ton of expertise and different backgrounds, and they bring that in making some unique programs.
And so what I think is interesting is it seems to be children's librarians, adult librarians. I mean, it's a variety of kind of the spectrum of our service.
That's true, yeah. So we plan adult programs, but we also have input, so children's librarians, we've had some teen librarians. Everyone just is excited about these programs and they want to share, and so we get some really diverse ideas and some unique programs coming out.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with us about Hispanic Heritage, about the events and programs, or?
Yes, we have some great programs coming up. In October, we're going to have a screening of the documentary War and Peace, and then we'll have some local scholars that will have a panel discussion about the role of Latinos in the military.
Oh, very interesting.
Yes, also in October, we'll have a screening of the documentary Stolen Education, and we'll also have the producer of that documentary, Dr. Enrique Alaman. And the documentary talks about the discrimination that Mexican-American students faced in some Texas schools in the 1950s. So they were kept out in separate classes, they were held back grades, and eventually 8 students testified before a federal court to discuss those practices and bring them to light.
Wow.
We also have just lots of branch programs throughout the month, and so there's something for everyone, really.
And so why do you think it's important that we talk about these kind of more serious topics like the stolen education and Latinos in the military? Why would you recommend that someone might attend a program like that?
I think it's really important to bring in awareness to these practices and remember our history, and I think just celebrating the diversity of our culture will also bring a respect. It can help build respect for other cultures, for different ideas, and I think that's something that everyone could use more of.
I like that. That's really interesting. Well, Kate, I'm really grateful for you coming and sharing your expertise with us, telling us a little bit more. For more information and for the calendar of events, where can people go?
The website,
Okay.
so mysapl.org. If you go to the calendar, there's a link. It says Hispanic Heritage Month. If you click on that, it'll bring you to all the programs that are coming up throughout the city.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Now it's time for a short break, but when we come back, Joel Banglin, Public Services Administrator, is here to share information about all of the special needs resources available at the library. Stay tuned.
Congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Visit San Antonio and be moved. Deep, deep in the heart.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full. Keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Turn here. There. Excuse me.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome back to Cover to Cover. Today we're talking about the diverse array of programs and services that the San Antonio Public Library has to offer. The library provides opportunities for people to meet, exchange ideas, and participate in the life of their community. The library values inclusiveness and strives to serve all our community's needs. Today we're joined by Joel Bangelin, Public Services Administrator, to share information about the library's special needs resources. Joel, welcome to Cover to Cover.
Hey, Marcy,
We're
thank you
glad
for
to
having
have
us
you
here.
back.
I'm really excited about letting folks know about some of our special needs services, especially for people who have low vision. First of all, I want to let folks know that if you need an accommodation or need assistance with library materials or programming or to participate in a library event, please let us know. Give us some notice for any sort of accommodation that we can try to make that would be reasonable. And so, for example, if you need a sign language interpreter, please let us know. That way we can try to find one. If you need something to be printed in Braille, we need a little bit of time to have that done. And but as a standard, we have a number of different services that are readily available anytime a customer or a library user comes into one of our branches or the central library, and they can take advantage of many different things that that will meet their reading and needs, and in the sense that, you know, not everybody reads with vision or reads words and letters. Sometimes people read Braille, sometimes people listen to another person reading. So that's what I wanted to talk about today and share with everyone. If you need an accommodation with some of our low vision resources especially, we do have closed circuit televisions at several of our branches. There is the Bazan Branch Library, Collins Gardens, Central, Great Northwest, Guerra, Johnson, and Las Palmas all have a closed circuit television where you can put a magazine, newspaper, or other printed material under a camera that will magnify it up to 26 times, so that way it's a little bit easier to see. Sometimes also learning disabilities are addressed by this machine. Not everybody reads easily black and white or black letters on white pages. Some learning disabilities are often addressed by changing just those colors, and this machine can do that. It can change it to like blue on yellow, which causes enough contrast and vibration for sometimes for some people's brains to perceive and read. So that's one of the things that we provide that's available at several of our branch libraries. Additionally, we have a small device that you could take home. It's called MonoMouse. It's a device that's about the size of a mouse. And
like a computer mouse.
A computer mouse, that's right. Sorry. And,
not your pet mouse.
Right. And you can, it's actually a camera that you can place on top of a printed item, like a book or a magazine or a newspaper again, and connect the device to your television, so that way you can have a magnified image of this thing. It's something that you can check out with your library card and take home and use at your leisure. That device is available at the Carver Branch Library, Central, Great Northwest, Las Palmas, and SEMS branches. So I also want to talk about some of the things that you don't necessarily have to read, that I think a lot of people who read for audio or like to listen to things. Many of our services that people who might have low vision might like to take advantage of our telephone references and telephone reference services, excuse me. So you can talk to a librarian if you dial 210-207-2500, and they can help you locate materials, help you find information, bits of information, and perhaps briefly even give you information right over the phone. I think a lot of people like that convenience, and a lot of people enjoy that. And that's something that folks don't really think about when they think about the low vision resources that are at a library.
Right. I think it might be a little daunting, or some people might be a little intimidated, you know, if they do have a special need to use the library, they might be afraid to ask.
Right.
What would you say to those people?
I'd say give us a call. Let us know what your needs are, and perhaps our librarians will be able to think of a clever way to address that. So say, for example, your need is mobility, like you may be wheelchair bound, or even temporarily. I'd like to say take advantage of our Books by Mail program. That way, and if you have trouble even with some transportation, for example, a blind person might not be able to find transportation to get them to a library, and it's often hard to navigate, have some of the Books by Mail materials sent out to your home. You can always request our Braille materials, our audio materials, and other printed materials to be sent home if for qualifying customers. Give us a call, again, speak to our reference librarians, and they should be able to help you connect to that service.
So really, I think the most important message then is that the library wants to be accessible to everyone, and we want to be able to share the information housed at the library with everyone.
That's right. Another thing that I think people might find convenient, especially those who might like our telephone services, is their dial-a-story. You know, children who might have mobility issues or even vision issues also might really enjoy listening to a story being told to them by a librarian over the phone. This is a wonderful service, and I think a lot of people take advantage of it. And this is one of our services that you never get a busy tone. So I think folks really can enjoy it. You'll connect to a librarian reading to you a very current story, and it addresses a number of different things: dyslexia, some learning disabilities, and also vision problems. And don't forget, the library is not just books, or it has books and a lot of other things. So take advantage of our music collection, our CD collection, our DVD collections with descriptive video service.
Oh, and how does that work?
Well, that's a DVD or a Blu-ray disc that has someone narrating the description on the screen. So if you have trouble viewing or seeing something on the screen, there's a person just describing the background or describing some of the sounds that might, or describing some of the sights that might be going on
behind the dialogue.
Behind the dialogue and behind
that's
the
so
actors.
interesting.
And then also, many of our services have accessibility features. For example, our own computers have Windows Narrator and Windows Magnifier. So if you need to see the screen at a larger magnification, access those things and you'll be able to open up a larger view and a bigger view, or have the computer read it to you and you'll be able to, again, bridge that division or that access to information. There are plenty of different things that are also available through our databases. Our Learning Express Library database has some accessibility features where you can change the chat dialogue to a voice dialogue, and that person will be able to talk to you and also help you magnify the interface so that if it's hard to see and a bigger image or a magnified image would be easier to read and use, then they can assist you on that. So that's a kind of neat thing that I'm slowly discovering about our own library. And I have to insist on requesting the Braille materials. Our Braille materials are available at all of our branch libraries upon request. They are housed at our Mission Branch Library and our Central Branch Library. So if you'd like to visit and see the collection or browse the collection or and look at that, they are available at those two branches. However, if those two branches are not convenient, you can always call the library and ask them to be sent out to the branch that's most convenient for you, just like any of our other materials. So do the same with our audio CDs and our music collection and our large print books.
So the reason we're able to do that is because we have what's called a floating collection. Can you kind of explain that to our viewers who may not know what that means?
Sure. One of the conveniences of the San Antonio Public Library is that we have a service that we could transfer materials between our branches. And so if you request something that's housed at one other branch or has been returned at another branch, it can be shipped over within 3 or 4 days to the branch that's most convenient for you. All you have to do is go online, place the reservation with your library card, make sure your library card information is up to date, and that way we can communicate when it's ready, or give us a call at 210-207-2500, and the librarian can help you make that request.
Fantastic.
Additionally, I just wanted to say, visit our website for more information about our accessibility and our special needs services. We do participate in a number of federal and state programs, such as the Texas Talking Book Program, which also delivers materials to your home absolutely free.
Wow, and is that for you to borrow or keep?
For you to borrow for pretty much an extended amount of time. So you do have to subscribe to their service. It is free, and as a resident of Texas, most people can take advantage of that service and use it in partnership with the San Antonio Public Library's resources as well.
So we've kind of talked a lot about books and materials, but what about programs? You mentioned, if somebody were in need of a sign language interpreter, that, we can help with that. What would you recommend for people that wanted to participate in our programs, but that might have some special needs?
Again, let us know if there's an accommodation in advance that's necessary. Like I was saying, if you need a sign language interpreter, we would like to be able to provide that, but it takes some time for us to find one and to make sure that they're scheduled for us here. If there's mobility issues, if you think that there's something that might be in the way, we can always check to make sure, and also provide some assistance in just getting to one of our meeting rooms or setting up as a participant in the program. It would be helpful if if our staff knew what accommodations are needed, so that way they can handle it with respect and dignity and properly and appropriately. It's very difficult for us to adjust that program to someone who might need something that's extraordinary or unusual. So it does help when our customers let us know that they might be coming to any of our programs, story time, lectures, panel discussions. That's one of the great ways that you can participate at libraries, and I would hope that libraries have been, that the San Antonio Public Library has been conscious about some of the barriers that some of our special needs customers have to overcome.
Right. So we have a really exciting program coming, or I should say space coming to Central Library soon. It's going to be our low vision reading room. I know you and I have been working together on it. What can you tell our viewers about it?
This is a really exciting thing. So in order to make sure that our Braille collection and our large print collection has some exposure and some awareness, we've set aside a special room that should be easy to find in the children's department of the Central Library. It's on the 3rd floor, and that's where our Braille collection is going to be housed for children. It's especially decorated with contrasting colors so that someone who might have low vision issues would have at least some help in seeing some of the shapes and some of the furnishings that might be in there. It has a magnifying device and also a listening station. So if you'd like to listen to one of the read-along stories, you can sit there at the table with a pair of headsets or headphones and listen to one of the exciting stories that we have at the library. Folks can feel through the Braille collection, and the exciting thing is that we'll be partnering with a colorblind art group that I hope I said that right.
The Color of Blind, I think.
The Color of Blind art group, and they're going to provide some art fixtures that you can interact with by touch. And so that's going to be very exciting. We really hope that, the library is trying to be something for everyone,
right,
or at least have a little bit for everyone. And we think that this will be a great way for our friends who are low vision or even who need other
opportunities
to interact with the library.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, I know I personally am really excited about the opening. For more information about the Low Vision Reading Room and some of the other resources you mentioned, best place to visit our website?
The best place to visit is our website, and that could do a search on our website for low vision, and you'll see some description of our services that are available at the San Antonio Public Library.
Fantastic. Well, Joel, I really appreciate you being here. You're always a fun guest to have. You're so knowledgeable about so many things about the library, so we're really grateful for your time. Thank you.
We're very welcome.
I'd like to thank our guests again for being here today. For more information about everything we discussed and other happenings coming up at the library, head to our website, mysapl.org, or follow us on Twitter or Facebook. Tune in next month for our next edition of Cover to Cover. See you then.